Welcome to the Entertainment Rants Podcast, your number one opinion source for all things entertainment. Join host Marco Mazzola as he sounds off on the latest movies, TV, music, gaming, comic books, and more. Now, here's the man of the hour, Marco Mazzola.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Entertainment Rants Podcast. I am, as always, your host, Marco Mazzola. Let's go around the room and hear from the ranters. Hello, Mila.
Hello.
Hello, Larry.
Hey.
And hello, Bruno.
You know, every night is the same dream.
It is the same dream.
Every morning is the same nightmare with this podcast.
It really is. So happy to have you here, Bruno. Whoa, that took a dark turn.
What a way
took
to
a
open it
strange turn really fast.
Doctor Strange turn.
A Doctor Strange, as you can
Who
tell.
doesn't love Strange?
A Doctor Strange
I love a little
Multiverse of
strange.
Madness turn.
Everybody loves a little Strange.
I love a little strange. So, now that we've taken that turn for the podcast, let's talk about what we're going to be talking about tonight, which is Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
No way.
You betcha. Way, as they say.
Cool.
Cool beans, yes.
Hey.
We're going to talk about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness today, what we liked, what we didn't like, kind of go over some little nitpicky in things and probably have some infighting. We'll see what happens. Should be fun. But let's go around the room and see what everybody thought of the movie. I'll start. Fantastic. I enjoyed it. Not as much as I wanted to, not as much as I thought I would, but overall I enjoyed the movie. The second viewing, I enjoyed it more than the first one. I will say that. Coming out of the theaters originally, it's a lot. There's a lot thrown at you in this movie, so there's a lot to digest the first time out. Definitely missed a few things on the first viewing. So having to watch it, but choosing to watch it again, I got to see some of the stuff that I was in my brain incorrect about. Some of the plot points and things like that, especially with the Wanda stuff, I was wrong about. And I was like, okay, I'm glad I watched it again, because then I kind of got it straight before we did the podcast, and I started complaining about it and sounding like an idiot. Like, that's not what happened. So that was good. It was useful for me to watch it again for the second time. So that's my overall take on it. Let's go around the room. Bruno, what'd you think?
I thought it was good. I mean, I'm a big fan of the Doctor Strange, or I should say, like you were talking about earlier, I'm a big fan of the way Cumberbatch portrays him. I like the way they've written it. He's sort of cool, cold, calculating, and I think that is pretty true to the comic book. Mm-hmm. And I like the way they did it. I thought the movie was well done. I think there are some major plot holes that we could talk about as we go
we'll definitely go into those.
But I also, it was called the Multiverse of Madness. I was kind of hoping for a few more multiverses.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or like spending some more time in some of the alternate. It was essentially just two Earths instead of like anything else, really.
Yeah.
So, but overall, I enjoyed it.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. I mean, why not?
Pearls of wisdom.
I have tons of them. Pearls. At the end of this movie, I felt the same way that I did at the end of the first one, where it wasn't bad. I didn't really get any closure from. Well, maybe closure is not the real right word or anything, but for me, this is a movie I could have watched, not watched. I don't think it would have really affected how I felt about the rest of the MCU.
Would you agree you have to watch this one to kind of understand what happens next? That there's a lot kind of in this one, which kind of sets us
It's
up
a lot
for
of
things that are
setup
coming,
here.
that's coming up, which is kind of the problem with this movie. There is a lot of setup with not a lot of payoff.
Yeah.
Kind of like Bruno was saying, right? There's a lot of, we're going to talk about the multiverse, we're going to explain the shit out of the multiverse, but we're not really going to show you much of the multiverse. You'll get that later, so
I don't
hold
know.
on to your
I
shorts.
didn't see any setup for anything else in this.
I personally, when I watched it, I didn't leave this. I liked it more the first watch just because things shocked me. But I walked away, like, I was not blown away. But the thing is, I did think it was actually a really cool movie. Like, there was stuff where I was like, okay. But I actually really liked it. The end stuff was, like, kind of weird. But I was like, okay, all right. Like, no, like a bunch of, you know what, they made a lot of weird decisions. But I liked the movie. I wasn't blown away like some other movies, like that Spider-Man movie that came out. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the movie.
All right. So let's get into it. It introduces new characters, America Chavez obviously being the main one, who, I don't know, I understand why we have her. but it seemed like we didn't really. There was
Kind of
no
a
mention of her
Did you
before.
meet
She just
her?
kind of popped up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And didn't really get much in the way, but it almost spent too much time on her. You know what I mean? Like, and not anything else. Like Larry said, it was just, or we said, it was like one other universe.
I'm not really understanding why we needed her to be honest. Like
Yeah.
we need the ability to traverse
To go through the multiverses. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
get it.
Through.
So they created her character for that. Is that
Well,
essentially
no, she's
it?
a character from the comics.
Oh, is she from the comics?
Yeah, she's a
Okay.
character from
Yeah.
the comics. Yeah,
All
absolutely.
right. All right.
So they
So
pulled
then
her
they
out.
needed her. Yeah.
Yeah. They needed her. Yeah, we need to be able to get through the multiverse. And
If you're going to have a multiverse of madness, you need the character that traverses the multiverse.
obviously there's a ton of different
But
ways
there's
they
like
could have
other
done it. That's
ways
just
they
the way
could have done it.
chose.
So-
Right. So so you just kind of just hit it because we saw Spider-Man No Way Home where there was a multiverse. Then she wasn't in that, was she?
No.
So you don't need her to
Strange
create.
basically separated out.
Yeah. So you don't
Yeah.
need her to create the multiverse, but yet
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
got
but
it.
she
You
can
just
do
have
it at
some-
will.
She
You
can
could've
do it
just
at
had
will.
some-
She can travel through.
Yeah.
For Strange, it was a little bit. He was just cracking the whole damn thing open.
Right, but after did
Yeah.
it the first time, you figured that he can maybe figure it out.
Maybe,
Yeah.
but he kind of
maybe he
stopped.
They
studies a
could've
little bit
done
more.
this.
But
now
almost like he
can-
didn't want to try
Yeah.
it again because it
Yeah.
almost screwed everything up. So like,
Right,
it's,
so
like
her
Wong
ability-
told him it's really dangerous.
Right, so
to
her
mess with
ability
the
to
magic
do it at will per se is a little bit better. Okay,
It's a little
sure.
bit tighter. It's a little bit more reliable, especially when
Fair,
she
I guess, yeah.
really quickly learns how to use her powers. We'll get there at the end. We know we have that instantaneous. I'm an idiot. Okay, I now know how to use my powers with
Yeah.
no formal training.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I
With
guess
no,
I
like,
can
Professor
control
X-
my powers.
X-Mansion training
that's
regime.
Wild.
No, she
Yeah,
figured it
went
out.
through this really difficult power she's haven't been able to use for her whole life. Since she first kicked her mothers through the portal, never figured out how to use it. And all of a sudden,
Right.
within like
It
5
wasn't
minutes,
super clear to me like how she learned. Was it just the power of friendship, and all of a sudden she knew?
Yeah.
Like the Care Bear stare.
Care Bear
yeah,
stare.
it was a kind of
You
a
know
Care Bear
what?
stare. No,
It
she
was.
just,
It
she just
absolutely
It was right. Like
No,
she's
it was
like
like-
all of a
believed in
sudden,
herself.
Yeah.
It wasn't a case.
Yeah.
She believed
I
in
believe in
herself.
Same
me,
thing.
and now I can do
Yes,
it.
I
The
am.
same thing as like, well, it's all about the friends we made along the way, kind of thing. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, she learned very quickly. There was very little learning curve in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
For the entire movie, she didn't know how to do it. She was just by accident when she got really excited, when she got nervous or scared, then it would just pop open
Yep.
to some random universe. And she
Yeah.
But it was always
But the-
to a universe that helped. In other words,
Yeah.
that she always brought them somewhere that they needed to be. Do you notice that?
they landed somewhere, and it was
There was
always
no-
it was by accident, but
Yeah.
it happened to be.
There was
where
no, like, good God,
because
we're
we
stuck
went
in
through
the
like
paint
the went through like
universe.
the pipe universe, the paint universe, and all that other stuff. What's going on? Everything
No,
else?
there's an ambulance.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
And it was like,
I can't hear it in the headphones.
Guys
so
are
I
like
think
my
we're okay.
3-year-old ambulance, fire
Yay!
truck.
Fire truck, ice cream man's
I know,
coming.
it's just
Larry was like
Yeah.
tripping for a second.
I
I was
couldn't- I
like,
couldn't
I was
hear it at
trying to, I don't know, mouth ambulance, but I don't know.
ambulance.
Yeah, I could.
Ambulancia.
Oh.
Vacuum. That sounds like fuck you. So, what'd you say? I said vacuum. So, anyway, yeah, I think the part for me with the multiverse stuff, like Bruno said too, is really tough because we didn't get a lot of it. We didn't get enough multiverse in this at all. You know, I wanted
Yeah,
more.
that was one
I
of
don't
the
mind them having to
disappointing
be
parts.
somewhere else to kind of solve. I would like to see them go through more of them to solve the problem.
It should have been
Yeah.
called Doctor Strange and the
This
838
other
universe.
And
universe,
like
yeah.
maybe 3 other
And
universes
838
that we
should have just
visited.
been called
Or
838.
just
well,
not.
there was 2, right? He went through
616 is the
My
the
bad.
base.
You know what? There was like one other
616 is
one.
Yeah,
Earth
where
as we
the
know
evil
it,
Strange
or
was, yeah.
the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
Normal 616. 838 was where they ended up, where they met the Illuminati.
Yeah, we'll get there.
And, you know, which is a stupid name. And then
Pulled from the comics.
Pulled right
Yeah,
from the
that was,
comic.
that
from
was
the
from
comics
the
too?
comics.
Very
yeah.
comic book
Yeah.
origin.
good.
Some different Illuminati in there. You know, Tony Stark is in the Illuminati. Namor's in the Illuminati. There's like a lot of different characters.
Yeah,
You're always,
and it goes through
groups
different
like that, you're
editions.
always gonna have different
But that
people,
was
except for the
that
Fantastic
universe's
Four.
version of Illuminati.
Right.
Multiple, obviously multiple universes have the Illuminati, just different. Just
I think if they took out the name multiverse and named it something else, I think it would have been
Triverse.
fine. No, don't even put the word verse or
Should've
universe
just been-
in it.
Doctor Strange 2.
Doctor
Leave it
Strange
at
and
that.
838.
Drop it.
Or Doctor Strange and the Book of Mormons or whatever the book was there.
The Book of Mormons.
the Vishanti?
Vishanti, right? The Book of Vishanti.
No,
Yeah.
wasn't that the statue from Moon Knight?
Yeah, that's what I was
No,
like.
you
I
think
was
that'd be a
like,
Shabti.
oh yeah, no, that's what I was saying. I was
The
like,
death
no,
book,
Ushabti,
yeah.
right?
the
Whatever.
Dark Home.
And then there's the Dark
Dark
Home was the
Home.
The
bad
Dark
book.
Home.
and
Dark Home was the
Vishanti
bad
was
one.
Well,
the
yeah,
good
that's
book.
the, like
the
Dark
good
Home,
book.
the Book of Mormon, same difference,
exactly.
same thing.
Wow.
yeah, I mean, they-
Wow.
We just cut our demographic right down.
It's all right. I don't think they're allowed to listen to this shit anyway. Yeah, they're
I
like,
think you think of the Quakers or something. I don't know what you're talking about.
I know a certain 30
just
seconds
the-
Marco's
they're
going to be cutting.
nah, it's
It's
all
the
right.
same thing as
Nah.
the Amish. It's like
Yeah.
That's it's the Amish, yeah.
The Amish
They
are the
horrible
ones.
shit about them. They don't know. They never hear it.
No electricity.
Yeah, I'm sure they figure like 1850 was roughly the time to stop sort of
We're gonna stop here. This is good.
developing their
This is
technology.
Yeah.
perfect. We stop here.
But yeah, like if they named this something other than anything that has to do with a universe, I think we would have been a lot better, because then you're not arguing with it's a multiverse. Well, we gave you 2 and we swam through like 5.
Yeah.
That's a multiverse.
That was the best part of the whole thing. The whole swimming through 5 or 6 of them. That was really
That
cool.
was actually really
Yeah.
cool. That was a super cool
Yeah.
moment.
Well, as soon as they did that, I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be really
Yeah.
good." Like, if they keep
Yeah.
doing this and jumping and whatever, like this is gonna be really good. And then it just sort of turned into a regular story with just 2 locations essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what did you think of the sort of the bait and switch of the fact that, like, when we saw the trailers, you didn't really have too much of an inclination that Wanda's the big bad, and all of a sudden she is the big bad of this movie?
I think it was a good surprise.
I liked the surprise that it was Wanda that was actually the big bad. Although I was like, why did they make the trailer seem so different from what this story actually? Like, I get it's like, ooh, the spoilers.
Same reason they didn't put the other 2
spoilers.
Spider-Man in the trailer.
know?
But
No, but
yet,
the thing
yet
is-
all the villains were getting knocked out by nobody.
No. But the thing is, for that, they
give it away.
kept like pretty much a lot of the story in the trailer.
They didn't want to give too much of it away.
But they didn't want to keep they didn't want to give out the twist. But the thing is, the Doctor Strange trailer was nothing like the actual story at all. There was no like.
Yeah, but you get that. You get either the whole real story in the trailer,
the whole
which I
thing was
hate,
you don't have to watch the
But
movie.
then why the
which
hell
I
did you do a
hate,
trailer?
or
I
you just
hate
get
that.
like something
No, you
that
have to do a
is
trailer.
a misdirect, which is I'm okay with too.
Which Marvel does a lot when they do like scenes and they cut over
Right.
characters that are in there.
Again,
or put other characters in there that aren't supposed to be there.
Yeah. Again, usually it's little changes like
No,
Thor's
this is a
eye.
pretty big
you
change.
know?
No,
Or
you're
like
right, this is a pretty big
couple other
change.
Spider-Man, but like this is a huge change.
Yeah, it was a
like
massive change to
They
the movie.
edited it so the whole like scenes in the trailer were not
You
even
thought
there.
Wanda was helping.
You know?
Well, they do that a
You
lot
thought
too.
her and
Sometimes
Wong
things get cut.
were fighting the big creatures together.
Yeah, it looked like in the trailer it was going to be like essentially that one episode of What If.
Yeah.
With
Because
Doctor
everybody
Strange.
was like,
And you're like,
those
oh,
creatures
okay.
are Billy and Tommy. Like, you know what I
Or
mean?
like
they're,
more than that,
they're her
but
sons
yeah.
and they're helping to fight them. And it's like, nope.
Nope.
Not at all.
And nope.
I was okay with the making her the big baddie. I was absolutely okay with that, because she's the Scarlet Witch, man.
Yeah.
She's supposed to be the baddie.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, she's flipped so many times in the comics.
Right.
Because she is
although-
Wanda, but the Scarlet Witch is almost an entity like the Phoenix.
Right.
So when
right,
she's
right,
taken
right,
over
right,
by the
right,
Scarlet Witch, she's a big baddie.
Right.
When it's just
Although-
Wanda, she's
yeah.
kind of cool.
I do actually really
chills
like
it
her
out.
as a big bad.
But-
But I thought she was really awesome.
But
Like,
liked
technically, she's supposed to
That was
be
cool.
still a bad person or a villain-esque person, right? She's like Emma Frost, goes back and forth.
Yeah.
Sometimes she's a bad villain, sometimes she's good. X-Men, Avengers, House
that's a
of
good-
House
You
of
always had
Valor.
that one-
I mean,
that
she
one
reminds
She
me very
gets
much of
more
Emma
good in the
Frost.
comics. Like, she marries Vision. Like, Vision's always been good. So they become husband and wife. So she's really on the side of good.
Right.
Yeah.
Not
So-
just
so-
kind of like
Pity her
doing, not a bad
beacon
person just
broke.
doing good because they need to. She's
know?
good.
I give her credit though. They've been setting this up for like 5 years, right?
Oh,
They-
well more than
yeah.
that.
So,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that was a
Between
good payoff for
Ultron.
her
between
character.
killing,
Since Age of Ultron.
Visions, Age of Ultron, and then they went with the whole WandaVision series that kept setting this up and just set the
So
stage.
my misdirect,
This was a
my
good payoff.
confusion why I had to watch this a second time centered around that in the WandaVision stuff, where it was why is she doing this just to get these 2 kids back who she had for 5 minutes, who she didn't actually.
No, she had it for weeks in the
in the
thing.
yeah, in the thing,
WandaVision,
she had
it was
WandaVision
It
was a
was-
matter of like a
yeah.
few weeks.
Yeah.
No, it was
but
a matter of
felt
like- it was
years.
very quick.
It felt like years.
It was
probably.
very.
I
It
mean,
moved very
Well,
quickly
she
for them.
advanced it, but it was
Yeah.
weeks. If you go back and watch WandaVision,
I have. It's not that long.
I mean-
Like when they're sitting out there, it doesn't take place over that that much time.
But the
mean,
thing
how
is,
long did
in
it
that
take?
in that short
Couple-
span
2
of
weeks
time,
maybe, like at
no,
best.
it was more than that.
the thing is, in that short span of time, she gave birth to them. She raised them. You
She
know,
didn't.
I
They
said,
aged almost
But
very quickly.
the thing is, but in that weird time thing, you know, in that weird way things were presented.
Yeah, but like it
It's
was just
still
like
to her, she got
she's
very
nothing.
attached
She has
to them,
nothing. All of a
you
sudden,
know?
she's got a belly bump. She's like, "Oh shit, I'm pregnant." Oh, that just she went from like flat belly
Yeah,
to
that
pop.
took like a week or
And-
2 to be born.
Yeah.
It was very
No, it didn't take
strange.
that long.
No, that was
No,
like
it
that was
was-
like
it was like
that
same
mo-
day.
It went from
It
like
was like
that
same day.
morning
It was
to
like a
being
matter of 2
pregnant.
days. She was
Yeah.
pregnant for like 2 days.
It was like 6 years, wasn't it? Like 10 years?
Something like that.
It was
No.
like 35 years to be born.
So she's like pregnant in like the 50s or 60s, and all of a sudden it's like the 70s, and she like gives birth to them. Then it's like the 80s, and they're like not even toddlers. They're older than my kid. You know what I mean? And like then it's like today they're doing like that Modern Family era.
Yeah.
And they're like that, and it's like that's it. They're gone. That was it.
Yeah.
Like it
So-
was not very long. So she's super attached to these kids. Okay, fine. That's fine. I understand. Okay, let's suspend that. I get it. I'm not a mom. I'm not there. But like they are fictitious kids that she didn't even spend 9 months like giving birth
No,
to.
but she explained
So
all
super
that.
intense.
She explained all that. He was like, he said it multiple times. They're not real. They're not real. And she's like, they're real to me.
They're real to me.
He's like,
And
you
that's-
made
Yeah.
them. You fabricated them. She's like, that's what moms do. We make kids.
Not in a matter of 3 days, but like you
Right,
know what I
but
mean? Like,
it-
it's
but
super-
literally
she
It
was.
doesn't
you're ready to
matter.
you're ready to like destroy the entire multiverse over these kids. But
I mean, you've got a child. You know how important kids are, right? You know
Sure.
how you feel about them, and she developed those feelings for them. That's just the way it was. You can't say to her, "Look, your kid isn't as important. They're fake." To her, they weren't. Right? To her, they were real. They were palpable.
Her mental stability
mental
made them
stability.
real.
Also, caused the problem.
And that's what she wanted. She wanted that
it
family.
was the
so-
mental
And-
stability,
So
having
it
lost vision.
Absolutely makes
Can't all
sense.
talk at the same time. So over having lost vision, having gone over all that, that's when she decided to she started to lose the plot, and that's when she created the town and held everybody hostage. So it was more her mental instability that caused the problem. Mila.
Also the fact that I lost what I was gonna say.
Ah,
No, it's
bummer.
Gone. It's gone.
Oh, come back to it. Raise your hand. When you go through, so what got me was that at first I didn't realize is that she's doing that. Hold it.
Sorry.
Don't
No, I
lose it.
just remembered.
Don't lose it. Don't lose it.
I'm
So
trying so
she's
hard.
doing it. What got me the fact that she said, I need to be able to go through the universes because what happens if I get to that universe and something happens to those kids? I can then go to another universe and be a mom to another set. Because that was the issue. That was why doesn't she just go and
That's why she wants to pop.
Yeah.
but why does she just go to a universe where Wanda's dead and the kids still need a mother? You can come back as their mother and be fine, which is what they said. She's like, yeah, but what happens if something happens to them? I need to then be able to go somewhere else, which is why she wanted to take the power
Yeah,
from
'cause
America
she needed
Chavez.
to change.
Not just say, okay, send me to that universe where
It's
Billy
so she
and
could-
Tommy need a mother.
It's so she could jump to every single universe
she
and
can
always be a parent
there.
to those two
that's
children.
I didn't
Yeah.
pick that up on the first run through.
Okay,
that's what
that
I picked
actually
up.
makes
Go for
sense.
it, Mila.
Also, it has to be taken into account the fact that it must have also she was always kind of already kind of unhinged, but it must have made her feel even worse because again, in her dreams, which are real in other universes,
Which I liked.
there are so many universes where she has her kids. Except for hers.
Except for what she
essentially,
said, yes.
and essentially it's just her universe where she doesn't have her kids.
Yeah.
I
think she saw a lot of them.
So
Maybe not all of them,
in
but
all
a lot
these
of them.
universes,
Who knows
she
about the Pain
is
universe?
the mother of these kids. Except for hers. So
All right,
that must have
okay, you know what?
kinda
Because
driven
of
her a
listening to
little
the
bit.
two of you just do that, that was one of my little plot holes. Like, are you kidding me? Because I was on that same boat as far as you want to destroy all this, you want to go through all this for fucking kids that you just created. After listening to you two, yeah, you've written that off for me, and
Makes
I
more
could,
sense,
it
right? And
makes
that's
so
what
much
the
more
second
sense.
viewing
Yeah.
did for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, now I could see why she wants this.
Yeah, that's what the
So.
second, which in a way makes the movie good and not good in my view because it took me a second viewing to see that.
Well, she-
It took me the first viewing.
It was a second viewing for me.
I
I
mean,
mean, so
she
much going
expresses
on.
it.
I was like, oh.
She literally says it in
Yeah.
the first one, so you just might have missed it. That's
Yeah,
all.
because there's so much happening. It just didn't kind of click. They're like, oh, okay, got it. So the second one I went through and said, yeah, okay.
Okay. All right.
There's
I
just a
mean,
lot happening in that movie.
Yeah.
There is this
But I
between the
don't- I
America
don't
Chavez
consider
stuff
that-
and her and what yeah, and it feels like Doctor Strange is kind of a secondary character in his own movie. It was mostly about Wanda and it was mostly about America Chavez and her struggles. And Doctor Strange was just kind of there to kind of help save the day. It didn't seem like a whole lot of his.
It
you know what I
wasn't-
mean?
yeah,
There was a
I-
little bit
he
of
was
the.
in- he
there
was
a little
intimately
bit of
involved
the.
I don't know.
everything
I
they
thought
did.
I thought he was a pretty big player
Yeah,
in the
he
movie.
was-
He was like
He was
to me,
in just about
a
every
tool to
scene.
make it
Yeah.
happen. No, of course, but he was just a tool to make it happen to save the day. But it wasn't necessarily his plight. It wasn't him. You know what I mean? Like he was helping America Chavez not get killed by Wanda. He was stopping Wanda from being able to do everything. It wasn't something like you know what I mean?
But isn't that every superhero movie? There's a big problem, and then the superheroes
Although,
are the
I
tools.
do-
Sometimes.
I do
A lot
see
of
where
times the
you're coming
superhero
from,
needs their own
Yeah.
problem, need their own issue solved.
Yeah, but I do see where you're coming from because like in those superhero movies where it is their movie, you know, you
The
see
villain's coming after them.
Like they're either the villain's coming after them or there's something else in their life that's going on at the same time usually, but also a bunch of superhero stuff at the same time, you know.
Well, he has.
Yeah,
But
or
with
they're coming
him,
after-
with him, he
the
literally
superhero's
just
coming after
woke up
someone
and
they
was like,
love or something like that.
No, but like he has a love who, you know, he screws up in a relationship in every single universe.
That was kind of a
That was a
secondary
part of it.
note. That was a secondary note just to kind of close off that chapter of like, okay, we don't have to deal with this anymore. And when we get to Doctor Strange 3 or whatever, we don't have to deal with that part of the story anymore because we've closed off the fact that he will never be with her.
Well, what a
So,
sad,
but now
what a
he's
sad
with
thing that happened.
now he's going to be with Charlize Theron's character because in the comics he is.
He is with her, yeah.
Wait,
Yeah, they did that
Charlize Theron.
in the
At
after
the
credit
end,
scene.
the after credit-
She
Oh,
slices
her?
open the universe. Yeah, I forget her name.
Where she seems so
Theron, right?
random.
Is it
to me.
Theron?
Like I get
Isn't
it.
she Dormammu?
Dormammu.
Dormammu's niece or something like that, yeah.
Niece,
thought it was-
yeah.
I
Oh,
love.
maybe even his
I thought it was his
daughter.
I
daughter.
think it's his niece. Look it up.
No,
I
it's
think
his niece.
daughter.
I love
niece.
looking at her and going, bro, how?
So that
Where's
was
the
in the
comedy?
comics.
I mean, here's
they're
comics
like
for
married.
you, right?
Yeah,
I'm like,
they're-
that's
they're married. Or
comics.
something like that. At one point, they were married or whatever together. So, you know, and that's fine. But that's like the character was like, I had to look her up too.
Yeah, I was
Who this
like,
is, which is fine. We talked about that before. We will get that point where even people
end
like
seems
myself who
weird.
really love comics and read a lot about, we're gonna start looking things up. Like, okay, we've gone through a lot of characters here. You're gonna need to start pulling up some C-list and D-list characters that I don't know who the hell they are.
Yeah.
Especially
But
where
they,
you're dealing
they do
with.
that a lot because
Yeah.
those
Which is
guys
okay, you
don't
have to.
They don't have canon, so you can just make them. You do whatever you need them to do.
Which is okay. I don't mind that. But we're gonna have to. Like, you can only do so much of the A-list. You have to get to the D-list, C-list, whatever characters.
Yeah.
Which is cool because then you can do anything you want with them. Really. You know what I mean? Like in some respects,
they're
like,
not
all right, if they
like-
kill this one off, like okay, it's not killing off Cap. It's not killing off Tony Stark. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which takes a lot. You can't just do it in one movie. It
Right.
takes 10, 12 years to do it to make it feasible. So I don't have a problem with that.
and some of those lesser known like actors or actresses, they're not typecasted yet. So then you could go like, oh, we can do whatever we want with them.
Yeah, we can put
like
them
you
in
can
somewhere.
make them whatever character.
She's his
you want.
daughter.
Is his daughter? Did they
Really?
change it?
Yeah.
The
I
daughter
swear
of
to
Umar.
That's
Oh, no,
Dormammu.
I'm sorry.
Dormammu.
Dormammu.
Niece, the daughter of Umar, and the niece of the demonic Trian Dormammu. So
That's
yeah,
the niece.
so
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
the niece.
Okay.
His
My
niece.
baggage.
So that's okay. So yeah, so they're gonna have to go. So they're going back into that universe, which I'm like, if he goes back there, it's like okay, we got to deal with Dormammu again.
Yeah, but maybe they'll do it better though.
Dormammu,
I hope so.
I've come to
I
bargain.
hope so. Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't mind so much that the look of Dormammu was kind of weird. It was
I thought it was
almost
cool.
it was almost like we don't quite know how to represent him on screen, so let's just make this big floating head.
Well, what is
Do you
he?
know what I'm saying?
I
You
don't
gotta
know
look
what
it
he
up.
looks
It's kind
like
of a
on the
weird looking
comics.
character, but like
Little known fact: that head was actually Cumberbatch.
was it?
They
It
took,
was
yeah,
him
that
just
was,
No.
they took his face.
You know what? I did hear that
they
something
took
about
his
that.
face
Yeah.
I
and
did
they threw a
not.
mocap.
They put all that rippling
Mocap
crap
mask
all over
on
it.
him, yeah.
They put all that rippling crap
and they
on
just
it.
skinned it.
Yeah, so that's fine. All right, so what did we think of America Chavez, the character herself?
I thought she was
I
pretty
thought she was
bland.
kind of boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right,
I'm
okay.
like,
I wouldn't
there
feel like I was the only one.
There was not a lot
She didn't,
interesting
she
about
didn't
her.
have enough personality
Other than
written
she
into
spoke
it.
Spanish. That was it.
Yeah, for once. At
And
the
she was
very
kind of
beginning.
sassy.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
And then
Sassy.
she did have the funny thing, like, what? The Spider-Man, does he shoot it out of his butt? Like, that was kind of fun.
That was
Yeah.
kind of fun.
and Doctor
but,
Strange was like, I don't think so. You know?
but like most of her character, I was like, okay.
Yeah. It was, she was a tool to be moved around.
She was a tool to be moved around.
Yeah.
If anyone in this like story, it was her. It was like, no, it's a tool with a backstory. Oh no,
Are we glad or not glad that she didn't get reconnected with her mothers?
I don't
Because like,
care.
well, that's the point. Like,
I
you
don't-
don't. You're
I don't
supposed
care
to, but you
enough.
If I'm
don't.
supposed to see
mean, it
a
would've
movie
been
with
nice.
her finding her mom's, I frankly don't care.
As a
I
parent-
don't. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm glad that she didn't, because now that she quote unquote knows how to use her powers, now that's a story arc for her. That's always gonna be her driving force
Oh, great way
from
to see
going.
more of her.
Maybe possibly. This could be her driving
Damn.
force of going from one universe
gets
to
a show.
another. While she's in this new universe, she finds some shit out, beats up some old bad guys, still can't find her mom and aunt. Next universe,
Yeah.
so that could kind of make her bounce around a little bit.
She didn't seem to have
Both her
superhero
moms.
qualities.
Both her-
Vibes.
it was both their moms, that's
the
right.
vibes were not there.
No, she didn't seem like she was, a fighter. She didn't seem like she had she didn't even really have like a sassy personality. She was really bland.
Yeah.
And so,
like she said sassy things,
I don't have
but not in any sort of sassy way.
More
I
of
was
that
like,
character. She seems
Yeah, I have no
boring.
interest in
Okay.
seeing her.
Don't worry, Disney Plus.
You'll get her on Disney Plus, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, I'm like,
She'll
I'm
be
like
a Young
that.
Avengers or something
She'll
like
show
that.
up. She'll show up again, and we'll be like, "Oh, look, my favorite character of all time."
With all the
as a
rest.
How you
parent,
been?
I'd love to see her find her family.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
That
that's
would be,
nice.
That would be cool.
I think
would,
that'd be great.
Yeah, and I like that Doctor Strange was like they're
She's
probably
really committed to that meal.
It's a pity. I just don't care.
Oh,
I'm
be young and single and
I'm like, here's a
not
pack to
attached to
lunch.
anything.
Good luck on your way. Bye bye.
That's
See ya.
awesome. All right, so
have any
Baron
questions?
Mordo.
Don't come back.
We get Baron Mordo back in the other universe. He was
the
supposed to be
dude.
basically supposed to have been killed off at one point in the beginning, and like we have him in the first movie with an end credit scene that kind of goes nowhere
Oh yeah.
Well, they haven't picked it up at all.
They just dropped
Oh
it. It's
my
like
God,
one of
you're
the
right.
few, but all it's happened.
They're
These
talking
after
about
credit scenes, like
revisiting that.
I forgot about
I
that.
hope so. I hope so because
They
it kind of
really
seems
never
kind of
brought
weird.
him back
I
from the universe.
honestly don't even remember it.
He's at the end. He's like with Benjamin Bratt. He starts stealing the powers of other wizards to become stronger.
And then he says, like, wizards. What was the
I guess
quote?
that was
Something along the
initially
lines of
Doctor
like,
Strange
there are too many
too.
wizards or something.
Yeah, too many
man.
people have like too much power or something like
Yeah.
that.
So that was kind of
cool.
weird.
When he showed up in 838, I was like, oh, he's gonna try to kill him.
And then he's like,
then he-
Steven, my friend,
My brother.
buddy. I was like,
I thought
You
that was
suck.
funny.
It was it was a little Lando Han Solo move.
Yeah, it was.
Where he's like, you bastard, how dare you show your face around here? And then he hugs him.
yeah.
Yeah,
And then
you're
he goes,
absolutely
well,
right. It was very Lando.
Go on red.
Yeah, exactly. See? Told you. No problem. Friends.
I thought
We're
the
good.
whole Illuminati thing was so bad. Really bad.
I would love to see it, and it just ended so piss poor.
I
We knew it was
thought
going to happen.
terrible.
Once Captain Marvel's just like, yeah, we can take care of your little witch. You're like, ugh, why did you say that? You're all going to die.
No, I thought that was
awesome.
fine. I thought that was realistic. I think
Yeah.
they're like quote unquote superheroes, so they're gonna be like, we'll take care of it, and no
yeah, and
problem.
they're way too high in
They're
their own
the
britches.
heroes that
Literally.
win at the end of the day.
I just
you know?
I didn't like. First of all, John Krasinski does not for me equal Reed.
Oh, that was fan service. Who knows if they'll actually use him again?
I
Probably
hope
not.
I don't think he's the
But
right
that was
person
fan
for
service
that.
because it had been played out on social media so much.
It
People
was,
had
yeah.
people had digitally made that poster so
Why?
many times and put it on social
Why?
media. They're like, oh, let's just do it.
All right.
I don't mind. I actually,
I don't see-
I
I
didn't
don't
mind.
see it
I
as
think
a
they
fit.
developed him more.
Personally, I don't see it as a fit. I don't think he's the right actor for that role.
Well, who would you want to cast as a
Who I thought
as
was
a
really
bland
good?
Mr. Fantastic?
I thought the original guy who was in the original Fantastic
Yeah.
I love
Four.
that
I know who
guy.
you're talking about.
I think he's great.
Forget his name, but I thought
That's
he
a
was
weird name.
really good.
He was in
fit.
another show.
It was a good cast.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I never really
I didn't
bought
feel
into
like
him.
that was a good one. I thought his death was pretty cool.
Yeah,
His death
spaghetti.
was awesome.
It was almost disgusting. Like
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
he turned
that
to
whole
spaghetti.
fight
Turns him
scene
into
was
Play-Doh.
kind
Yeah,
of disgusting.
something
She
about-
turned him into Play-Doh.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
I have like kind of mixed feelings about that, but my biggest feeling about that whole scene was, oh my god, that was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. Cause like
she
you
made
see-
short work of all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you see, like, these heroes,
Yeah.
right? And you're like, oh my gosh, this is gonna, like, I wonder how this is gonna turn out. But the second she goes to Black Bolt and goes like, what mouth?
Yeah, and that was the stupidest part of the whole thing.
That
I
sucked.
loved that.
No, it was
oh my
stupid.
God, I thought it was so
stupid.
cool.
Yeah, there's no reason
If
he would say that.
There was
Well,
no
yeah,
reason.
no,
If
that was
he's
kinda
the
dumb that they
genius,
announced it.
he's the genius of the group. Instead of just going, Black Bolt, tell her why she's gonna die. And all I do is talk, and she'd be gone. He's like, he tells her he's gonna kill you as soon as he says hi with his mouth.
Yeah, I
Why
hate
would you
that- I hate
tell
how
the villain how
cheesy
she's gonna
that
die?
Line was like it's like a
You
Pokemon battle.
wouldn't. He's
Like,
the genius. Really? That's your
Black
genius?
Bolt, use
Well, once the
shout
genius
or
says that, you know you're fucked because the genius can't figure it out to not tell her that, and she's just going to make it happen.
Yeah, but
she's
then,
a witch.
Although how are they
that-
supposed
yeah,
to
but
know
it got
that he-
worse.
they- she
Like,
could do
they
that?
took away his mouth, and then he freaked, and then shouted in his own mouth and blew his brains out.
Yeah.
That was,
That was
so
gross.
That was gross and
jarring.
I was like,
cool.
what the?
That's how cool. Like for me, that
But
was
it should have
so
never
cool
gotten to
because
that
of how
point.
jarring it was.
I think it was cool, but yes, it should not have gone to that point.
Absolutely right. Absolutely
Yeah,
right.
yeah, and that's why I'm also like a little disappointed is the fact that it's like this was so hyped.
Yeah.
And then it ended so quickly, but I kind of really loved, like, I really did hate that. Like,
Yeah.
that it's a pity that lasted for like a second, but it was also like one of the coolest scenes.
I didn't
of,
like seeing Captain
just
Carter taken out that way,
slaughtering
but
all of them.
that
she's
was
also
pretty incredible.
It was pretty cool, but she's
That
not the
was
Captain Carter from
insane.
What If. They've confirmed she's not the Captain Carter from
She
What
looks
If.
exactly like her.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's multiverse. There's probably a million that look
infinite
like her.
universes. There's
There's a
infinite,
bunch of Captain
Carters,
Captain Americas, and a whole bunch of
Steve
Captain
Rogers.
Carters,
I
and
thought she was good, and I thought that was
So
that what if
here's
was
my
really good.
here's my
yeah,
thing
like
with
Darth
that.
Mulder.
Yeah, they did.
Here's
They did.
my thing with that whole it's not the same Captain Carter from the What If.
Yeah.
That What If was you're telling me that in multi-universes, they don't give it to Steven Rogers when the whole idea was to give it to Steven Rogers.
Yeah, but they tried to. And then
Yeah, but you
shit
saw
happened.
the What If? Did you see the What If?
Yeah, I did. So that was one universe. So if
Coulda
that
happened.
was
Something
that
happened.
universe.
Sure, it could happen in other
Understand.
universes too.
Could have
There's
happened
an
It
again.
happened in
infinite amount
one,
of
it happens in
universes.
others, and then just
So now
then
it's
from
gonna,
there.
so
it trails
they're
off
just gonna
to the-
rehash the same.
Sure.
No.
See, when
Because,
people
I mean,
come
if you
out,
have
That's
multiverse,
literally-
how does it
that's
happen to
literally
Captain Rogers
multiverse.
the same way in every universe?
It should be different Captain Americas or different
Yeah.
It is.
people going
See-
through that. But
It was Captain Carter.
yeah, the thing is,
okay, from that universe,
Yeah.
from the What If,
And another one.
and another one, and
And
another one.
Yeah, but
then
there were
the
li-
other
all
ones,
right.
it's somebody else.
It
It's
could
Peter
be
Parker.
anybody that was in that room, right?
Yeah, it could be Tony Stark's
Right.
father. It could be,
So-
it could be Roger.
So,
So-
in this one, it was her again. That's
the
all.
thing is, whenever they bring up stuff like infinite amount of universes, I'm like, I don't think they understand what that means sometimes. But like,
Why?
but like, I don't know, just some choices that they make. But
How do you make the same choice in five different universes?
Hold on. That doesn't
Well-
really have any relation to what I'm saying.
No, it's
But-
different.
But-
Same
all right, so
consequences.
listen.
Statistically, it's really
so I
common.
can see both sides of what you guys are saying. All right. So the fact is, there is an infinite amount of Captain Carters that you can pick from. However, why pick Captain Carter if that's not the Captain Carter? Like, why couldn't you just
'Cause she's
done
recognizable.
something else? You
Well, yeah,
know?
she's recognizable from
recognizable.
What If. And people
She
want to see her in
is.
live action, but also people
Yeah.
want
But
to
I'm like,
see
what if-
the What If one
so
die.
yeah.
Now they can bring her back in a different movie.
And that's what I'm saying. If they're gonna do that anyway,
Yeah, they will, but they don't want.
Why?
But they had to kill off the entire Illuminati as part of the story. But we don't want to see the one from What If that we really got to know and love, and she was awesome. We don't want to see her get taken out so easily. All right, we got to take out our Captain Carter because she's part of the Illuminati. So let's just take out one nobody cares about because she's from a different universe.
So,
Yes.
so What If might have been universe
but again, they could have
721,
picked.
and this
They
is
still
838.
again could have picked literally anyone else.
Well, why?
Yeah, but they chose Captain Carter because everybody recognized her.
Yeah.
And this is their first introduction of seeing Captain Carter on screen.
And there's
next
a huge,
next time we
huge
see
fan
Captain Carter, it's a different
uprising
Captain
for
Carter.
female.
Because remember, they were going to see a lot of multiverse.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of, hopefully
And yeah,
more
I
than we
get
saw in
that,
this
I get
movie
that.
as the movies
But
go
still,
on.
it was a-
Quantumania.
it was a weird
He's going to have
decision.
multiverse. Loki stuff's going to probably have more multiverse
if you-
in it.
Like
If you think about
it's
the
the
fact-
fact that they're going to like use her again anyway with the same actress and everything.
So imagine
And you're
what
like,
happens
"Mm."
when they hire an actress for some role. They're going to say, "We want you to play Captain
Hell,
America."
pick a different superhero then.
No,
Like,
but they've already got her. She's probably on payroll, and they're going to say, "We're going to use you here. We're going to use you over here. We're going to use you over here. We're going to."
Sometimes they get multi-contract-
We got you
multi-movie
for 5
contracts.
movies.
Yeah.
In this movie, you're playing, Captain Carter from Universe 721, and in this one,
Another
it's from
Carter, you just
838.
in this universe, you're just still Peggy Carter, not Captain Carter.
Yeah.
It's just different.
They'll just,
different things
they'll
happen.
just keep going through that. I mean, it makes sense. Plus, like a lot of people were really thrilled when they had the female Captain America. So why not?
killed her
Why
off a
not lean
second
into
later.
that? Why not lean into that?
It's the same thing for me with Professor Xavier. Like we finally got the
That
Professor Xavier
sucked. That
we
actually
needed to
pissed
see,
me
we
off.
wanted to see
For
in
years,
the chair,
yeah.
in the chair
That-
with the green suit on,
yeah.
and
of
she just
everything
snaps
about
his
this,
neck.
that's what pissed me off.
That
the most.
pissed me off
I
the
didn't
most.
really care about the Captain Carter thing because I was like, oh, okay. Like this is after the fact, like logic things is the Captain Carter things, but the Patrick Stewart, Professor Xavier.
This is the third time we've
For-
seen him die.
For him
Yeah,
to
they cannot
die
stop killing him.
so quickly in this movie, that pissed me off.
Yeah, it's too easy.
I
for
was
me.
like, are you kidding
Don't
me?
worry, it's not the same one. It's a different Professor
Right,
X.
right, and that's the thing.
it's
I'm
not
like,
the one
oh,
we're gonna get when
You're
we
right.
actually
We
get
could
the
just bring
X-Men
another.
and install
Like
into
this
the
meant
system.
nothing. It's that thing. It meant nothing. You know.
I mean, it meant something.
they
I
can-
love
if
this
they can
character.
again
We're gonna
just
see him
throw
die.
it
They had
Come
to
back.
pick they had to pick a universe where they could kill everybody, and they're never going to go back.
And they
So-
had to, yeah, they're not going to go back to it, and they had to do it because we have to see how powerful Wanda is. We have to demonstrate just how powerful she is without destroying our regular Marvel universe into the 616 universe.
We're going to show you that she could beat every single one of them hands down.
And don't forget,
Yeah.
it's her doing it vicariously right? And she's basically sleepwalking herself and doing all this. So she's not even
her.
It's not even her. It's not even like that Wanda.
It's her vessel or something.
That Wanda didn't necessarily use the Darkhold or has been taken over by it. She happens to have Tommy and Billy, but like she wasn't full on Scarlet Witch in that universe.
So even
she's dummy. She's puppeteering that Wanda. Yeah. That's how powerful she is from a different universe. She's able to make that Wanda that powerful to kill the Illuminati.
She's hands down the most powerful hero.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I mean, that's always
absolutely. Right? Oh my god.
So that was. But again, the Professor Xavier stuff really chapped my ass. We're like, I get it. You have to kill him off. I'm fine with that. I understand that.
And that's
it was just too easy. There was not even like a mental battle between them. There should have been some kind of a mental, psychological battle where he's trying to get into her mind.
Well, he got into her mind. The problem is
she had to save her from under a rock, and the other one kind of comes out of nowhere and just snaps his neck.
I would like to see a battle.
There should have been more.
I wanted to see a real world battle between the two of them, not like in her dream, in her subconscious. I want to see a real world battle because what they do well, what they always have done well since day one in this Marvel universe is that they play to the comic stuff. They show you on screen what we read in comics. Since the first Avenger movie, when Thor is swinging his hammer to make himself fly, we're like, other studios don't give a shit.
They just make him fly?
They just make him fly. Or DC or whatever. Like, we know that's a thing, but we're not going to do it because that's too much fucking work. Right? So now even in this one, you have Professor X sitting in the chair, thank God, finally, and he puts his hand to his head, and you see the waves coming out of his head.
Yeah.
When it's coming, you know what I mean? You see that thought wave like you always saw in the cartoons and in the comics. Like they go that far to do it. They don't have to, but it adds that extra layer of like, holy shit, this is a comic book.
That's fan service too, right?
Yeah, and I'm totally fine with that because you know what? I'm a fan and I want to be serviced.
I get that, yeah.
Definitely with a little strange.
So I think it's Ian Grufford or Grufford.
Ian Griffin, yeah.
Is it Ian? Ioan? Ian?
Yeah, I think they still call me Ian. Yeah.
Okay. I thought he was a really good.
I never really liked him. I don't really care for him.
I liked him. I know what you're talking about, Bruno.
I mean, he strikes me as a intellectual professor type who would be like a genius. Like he's just the way
maybe the way they played him in those movies, he was a little too insecure and a little goofy, insecure. Like he should be a genius, but at that level, he should be a little bit more secure with himself because he was the leader, and he didn't seem like a leader of the team to me. He just seemed like, maybe we should do this, maybe we shouldn't. I don't really know. Maybe we could do this. Maybe I'll marry her. Maybe I won't. Like he was just too much. He was way too wishy-washy for somebody who's that advanced in himself and his career and everything that he does.
You'd be surprised. So there's this whole study they did with people like at various intelligence levels, and they showed that as you get more and more and more intelligent, you become less and less
social.
No, I don't want to say confident, but you start to doubt yourself a little bit more because you know that there are so many things you don't know, right? So like if you go the other way, as you get dumber and dumber, you're ultra confident in the stuff that you know, even though you may not know anything. And you're like,
that's my problem.
The sky is green and I know it, right? And so, it made sense to me. It felt right.
But Reed Richards isn't real. And if you're going to base a character off of a comic book, that's what you got to make it like that.
Well, make it feel real. I get what Larry's saying and I could be wrong. I haven't read enough Fantastic Four comics. He never struck me like that in the comics themselves.
I mean,
he always seemed a little bit more confident. Yeah. As a Reed Richards, he seemed a little bit more like I'm the genius and I know what I'm doing.
I mean, Marvel as a whole always made their comics kind of like real life. Like I get that, right?
Like even Krasinski, and I know you don't like him, he seemed more stupid because of what he did, but seemed more confident.
Yeah,
as a genius.
I thought he portrayed it fine. I just don't. I don't see him as Reed Richards.
The problem with seeing somebody like Krasinski is it's hard to see him not as Jim.
Yeah. That is
totally a problem.
And
he played Jim for 9 seasons on The Office, and he was kind of goofy.
Yeah.
He was always pranking Dwight, and so it's definitely totally hard to see.
Yeah, when you have an
switch,
image
like
it's going to take him
switch.
a long time to actually get rid of that image. It's going to take a very long time, and it hasn't happened yet.
It's not. No, I agree.
He's tried to do a whole bunch of different ones to try to get rid of it.
Yeah. And it's nothing against him as an actor.
No, I don't dislike him.
It's just the fact that
it's against him because he went to Newton South. Fuck him. Him and Novak both went to Newton South.
Yeah,
they're both from Newton South. Fuck them.
Like Robert Pattinson in Twilight.
Newton North all the way, baby.
He's starting to.
Newton North Tigers.
North of the house.
That's right. Newton North represent.
So that's my thing. So
San Dimas High School rules. Sorry.
I don't have any. I don't have any issues with the way they portrayed him because I feel like he was a humble kind of like, I want to make this decision. This is a hard decision to make. It's not an easy one to make. So he didn't rush into it headlong. Whereas you're right, in the comics, he's probably a little bit more, I'm a genius and this is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
But I know they're two different
to
ways
a fault
to see
sometimes, no doubt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sometimes
Yeah, but you know what though? But I mean, in
Like almost
the
an
original,
arrogant kind of
yeah,
stuff.
exactly. And Reed Richards
you know
was
what, yeah,
kind of
I would read
like Tony
Richards
Stark. He
as
can be
more
an
of a-
arrogant because of his intelligence. He can be kind of arrogant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that wasn't
Well,
how they
then
portrayed
we
him. And
have-
okay, they don't want to make him arrogant. You want to make him more reachable, accessible to people to watch the movie.
yeah, but you have to also understand that that's technically when they first got their powers. So maybe like from all the years of reading the comics, you see the evolution of Reed Richards and him becoming one of the founding members of Illuminati. But in the original movie, it was kind of like they just kind of sort of got their powers. They're still trying to figure out. So he's still kind of blumbering around
That's
a
true.
little
They
bit.
did just get their
Yeah.
powers.
So they're relatively new. So maybe
And he was trying to figure out
what
his love with
right.
what's
So he's
her
trying
name?
to figure out. So what
Meanwhile,
you
he's,
want
like,
from Reed Richards
stretchy
was
now.
Reed Richards from
10 years on or
10
something.
years past
Yeah.
what we saw. So maybe I could see where.
I never really read like the original beginning of Fantastic Four.
Right,
comic.
right,
I read
right.
definitely years later.
Right.
You know what I mean? They are the first family of
Yeah.
Marvel. They would switch Marvel altogether. Does
So
everybody know that
maybe-
story? Why Stan Lee created them?
No.
So Stan Lee he worked for Marvel and he got really tired of writing the stories they wanted him to write, like westerns and the other thing. And he wanted to write something very different. And they're like, no, no, you can't. So he's basically going to tell them to go fuck off. And so his wife was like, well, you're going to quit anyway. You need to. They want you to write So just fucking do one your way. Do what you want to do, and see what happens. So he wrote the Fantastic Four, and it sold like gangbusters. And he was gonna quit. And they're like, no, you can't. And took a while too, because it came out, and then like by the time they got all like reports back and things like that, and that's how it came about. He wrote them, and that was his sort of like all right, I'm fucking out of here, but I'm gonna write one my way and see how it goes. And then that's it. Took off. Took off from there. And then years later, I found this out too. He wrote like so many stories on this typewriter, this old school type. That's how he wrote all of his shit. Can you imagine how much that typewriter would be worth? The stories he wrote those things on,
Like
worth
$100.
No, I mean Stan Lee wrote like basically the entire Marvel universe, right?
$200.
$200. No, it's worth nothing because his wife got really mad and smashed it one time. She completely destroyed
$1
it.
million for the WP.
She's like, what the hell? What are you doing? You know how many how much that would be worth? He's
I mean,
like,
it's
well,
not-
nothing.
it's not like
she's
he
like,
needs the
she's like,
money.
well, just we'll just get another one that looks like it. He goes, no, I can't. I've told that story all over town. Everybody knows that story. I can't replace it with something. Everybody's gonna know it's a fake. Yeah,
It's crazy.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Stanley.
R.I.P.
All right.
So anyway, all right, back to
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange.
So the movie, right?
Back to Doctor Strangelove. Has anybody seen, just out of curiosity, the original like 1970s Doctor Strange movie that was supposed to be? It was a pilot. It was a movie. It was really fucking bad. That they were going to make a series into, and it was just like it was
No.
The 70s.
horrific.
Yeah.
It was like
I didn't
late
even
70s.
know
It
it was
was
a thing.
really horrific. And if you ever get a point,
We
you
try
can
to cover it
see
up.
you can see some of it like on YouTube like that. If you ever get a chance, go watch it. It's bad. Even if you watch the trailer.
It's really bad. I mean, I don't even think you need to look at the trailer. If you just look up like the images.
He's a psychiatrist. He's not like a what do you call
Medical
it? Yeah, he's not like a brain
surgeon.
surgeon or anything like that. Yeah, psychiatrist. So that's kind of like the whole point of the whole movie. It's really strange, but it's supposed to be 'cause
Literally.
it's Doctor Strange. Anyway, so directed by Sam Raimi.
I mean, this movie has Sam Raimi's fingerprints
All over it. The
over it.
horror
Yes,
aspects,
absolutely.
Talk to me about the horror aspects in this movie.
The thing is, like,
It was Army of Darkness all over again.
and the thing is, for
Well,
me,
you got Bruce
actually,
Campbell in
got
it,
Bruce
so
Campbell.
yeah.
fun fact,
No, but
the
the
Evil
moose,
Dead
the punching.
movies, like all three of them, are like probably one of my favorite franchises of all time. So seeing a bunch of this stuff, like with Sam Raimi's touch, I actually really loved it.
Sure.
Like,
It was very
like
cool.
personally for me, like it just hit differently, and I was like, I love this, especially
And
like
this movie plays-
at the
it's-
end
it-
credit
it's-
scene with
good for
Bruce
that.
Campbell
When he's
like punching himself.
himself.
I'm like, yes, oh my god!
finally
And
over.
I was trying to like tell my friends that I was watching with, like, oh, that's a reference from Evil Dead, and they looked at me like I had four heads, and I was like, it's just no,
Yeah, see it.
it's a reference from a movie. Don't worry about it. It's just it's a silly thing. Don't worry
See a
about
movie.
it.
So now you know what it feels like me talking to you. See a fucking movie.
Oh my god.
Am I wrong?
I mean, you
I
make
know
like
that's
a
from a movie,
million
but I don't know.
references a day, and no, I don't get most of them.
That's my point.
'Cause
That's
I'm
what I'm
not
saying.
old.
That's what I'm saying.
Watch yourself.
What do you
Touche.
gonna
Touche.
say?
Nicely
It's a
done.
touche turtle.
Nicely done.
But yeah, no, I actually like a ton of stuff. Like when he used the animated himself in his own body, and then used the souls from the damned as like a cape to fly. I was like, this is so awesome. Like I just
And
love
it's
that.
again, that was like
I
more
love
like stuff
that
that like
crap.
the trailer didn't really.
Yeah.
No, but like they did the Evil Dead, hand reaches up and it
Yeah.
pulls people
Oh, yeah.
down. They did the jump scares. They did,
They had Bruce Campbell in there.
Bruce Campbell, I mean, right
Like,
there.
come on.
Right
The sewer
there.
scene, not the
When she
sewer, but
crawls
the under,
out of the mirror, like that was
that was
super,
pretty
like,
badass.
Girl from the Ring.
When she's
I love
chasing
that
them,
stuff. I loved it.
when she's chasing them, that couldn't. I can't. She's limping and then ends up in front of them. Fuck off. I hate that. What is this, Michael
When they
Myers?
stopped and
People
waited
in a
to
car,
see-
100 miles an hour, and he's walking
That pissed me
slowly.
off.
Ends up in front of them. I hate that.
I was like, move, go. Why are
I
you
get the
standing
trope.
there?
I get the trope. I can't stand it. I can't stand it.
Yeah.
And I get it. She's a witch, but she's not really at that point. She wasn't
Yeah.
using her power. She's just chasing them, using her powers to like open the doors and shit like that. But then she
There
ends
were a
up-
lot
Yeah,
of
and
like
I'm like, let me take
logistical
a
things in
wild
there.
guess and say
Yeah.
she's gonna end up in there anyway. Like,
She's gonna
like,
end up in front of them. Yep.
like at least have them running a little faster, or not
Well,
just stop there.
Like realistically, would
go,
you
"Is
have
she
ever
gone?"
stopped?
No.
I'd be like, keep running.
Keep
Because
moving.
that door's only going to hold her for about 5 seconds.
And if you fall
Yeah.
behind, it's your goddamn problem.
Like,
not
do
me,
you
it's
see?
you.
Do you see what she did to
I
the other
only have to be
superheroes?
faster
Come on.
than you. That's it.
I don't have to be the fastest, just faster than you.
Faster than you. Yeah.
Horror scenes, man, there are a couple of them. Again, Sam Raimi. I
It's
had
Sam
the
Raimi.
same
I
feeling.
like Sam Raimi. But this movie like opens itself. Like this movie kind of like if there's got to be a Marvel movie,
This is a Sam Raimi movie.
this is like something that Sam Raimi could do well.
But
with.
but here's the thing, though. Everybody like there was a lot of people that are selling this. Oh my god, the horror in it, the horror in it. I didn't find the horror in it.
wasn't
quote
really
unquote horror.
See,
Like
I wasn't
was Sam
scared
Raimi
by
horror
it, but I
first
still
time.
really
It was-
liked it. That's
It
the
was
thing.
horror technique. I don't think it was
Yeah.
horror.
Yes.
a couple
Don't
spots
forget.
here and
Yeah.
there.
This is a horror technique in a PG-13 way that's going to be on Disney Plus.
So you're trying to jam horror into a PG-13 movie just to call it a horror movie.
That's going to be on.
That
That's going to be on
sucks.
Disney Plus. You have
Yeah,
to.
So
No.
I'm sure, like the PG-13 folks are gonna be like, oh my god.
Yeah, but what I'm saying though is that you didn't need the quote
I don't
unquote
think-
horror aspect to make the movie.
I don't
but yet
think
they try
I
to
don't
like
think they
lean
did
on
that.
it.
No.
I don't think they did that. I don't think they threw those things in there so they could call it a horror movie. I think other people that went to see it were like, "Oh, it's kind of a horror movie."
Yeah, it has horror
don't think
That's
was
something
aspects.
for other people, but you and I talked about this before. If the horror wasn't in there, it wouldn't have changed my enjoyment of the
No.
movie either way.
Right.
No,
I
but
would
it
have
was a
liked the last one
cool.
more.
It was a cool ad, like
Yeah.
when they're waiting and he traps her in the mirror realm.
Yeah.
you know
That was pretty
And
cool.
then she's-
And then
and then
she
they're like,
reaches
uh-oh.
through, and you're like, "Whoa, that's kind of creepy, right?"
Yeah.
And then, like,
That was
she's coming
visually
through,
stimulating.
And she
Yes.
grabs them. Like those were kind of like,
See,
all right,
that-
you're
the
adding
part of
some
that-
what you
suspense.
said. What
Otherwise, it
Harry
would have been
said.
boring.
The part I didn't
Visually
like was she comes
stimulating.
out of the
I thought
mirror
it
like
was
the girl
really
from The
cool.
Ring.
Yeah.
Like that didn't need. You know, she's kind of like disjointed coming out of the
Yeah.
mirror. Like,
Oh
like the girl
yeah,
from The
yeah,
Ring.
because she
Like,
came from out through
yeah,
the broken
just kinda
mirror.
like-
Yeah,
and
I
she has
mean,
to, like,
if you're
kinda
gonna
put her
do
shit back
body horror
together.
like that, you should do it. I don't know that part. I was like, they could have emphasized that
Could've done without
better,
it.
or either done without it, or like that kind of body horror of like
Yeah.
snapping bones and stuff like that. I think they could have done it a lot like better.
Yeah.
You know, if you're actually gonna emphasize that, but the fact that it was so quick and it
Yeah.
was like, oh, okay, that's weird.
I thought it was
You know?
interesting because it showed her.
I want to emphasize more of that.
Yeah, I felt like it showed her being less human and more.
That's what I
witch.
caught from
More
it.
Scarlet Witch, yeah.
That's what I got.
That really was what it was. She was
for
But
doing
me,
it did say that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it said what it needed to say.
it said
Yes.
demonic.
That
Of
to
like,
me
this
said,
isn't Wanda
this is
anymore.
not a
This is the
human.
Scarlet Witch.
That's right. That's right.
You know?
I did
This
like
is a creature that's
Strange.
gonna kill you.
I liked Strange pulling into some of the what if stuff. Where he's pulling the drag, like the lizard, the
Yeah.
snakes out of himself, and
Yeah.
they kind of tied a lot of that into
That
it.
was- that was cool.
Yeah, I was able to do
Although,
that.
I'll be honest, when I saw him throw the snakes out there, I was like, are you serious right now? She just literally blew away things that are much more powerful than this. And you
Yeah.
think this
He's
is
just gonna do what he can do.
I was
He's gonna do what he
thinking
can
that,
do.
He's
yeah.
basically like just tickling her. You know, it's like,
He's like,
you know what I mean?
whatever
Or
he
like,
can do.
Wong
Here.
throwing the things at
That's
her
all I
like
got.
that's
That's all
gonna
I
do
got.
jack
That'd be like
all,
if you had a gun and I threw some sand at you, and he'd be like,
Or
are
if
you
you're
serious
Superman
right
and
now?
I shot you and did nothing, I threw the gun at you, and then you just dodge out of the way.
Yeah. You catch it and crumble it.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, that was kind of ridiculous.
So one of my least favorite,
this.
people. I know people love this scene, not necessarily everybody here, but my least favorite is when they're having the musical battle.
I knew you were gonna bring that up.
Fucking musical number with them like throwing the notes at each other.
I really like that.
Some people really.
It's so funny.
I thought it would visually look great. I just kind of like it. Just weirded me out. Like, why are we throwing notes at each other?
I only ever hear either
kind
hated
of strange.
it or
A little
loved it.
Phantom of the Opera.
Well, I guess he needed missiles or some projectiles, so he would play the piano, grab the notes out of the air and flung them at it, and then the bad guy, Strange, prevented them using notes
A staff.
Staff. Thank you.
to catch all the notes, which was awesome.
Thanks, Bandcamp.
And then it played those notes, and it was like Bach or something. It was really, really clever. I thought it was visually really stunning. And then
visually I thought it was good.
I love the concept. Like, he played some classical music, the notes came up, and then shot it, and then the bad guy rearranged them and played it was different classical music.
Yeah.
It was really clever.
That was cool. That was cool. Like, I thought that was cool. I wasn't blown away, but I did think that was actually really neat.
What blows
I
you
thought that was
away?
cool. What blows me away?
Third podcast. What blows you away? Third one today.
Well, when something blows me away in one of these movies we actually talk about,
you let me know.
I'll let you know.
You let me know.
I'll keep
Fantastic.
you updated.
Oh, I appreciate it.
I think in one of the podcasts I talked about something that blew me away, but I don't remember what it was.
That's good because this is number we have 80 up on the thing right now.
Well,
It's great.
Maybe we should watch
We
better.
have 1 out of 80.
We're gonna watch better movies.
1 out of 80 from Mila.
Maybe give me a really
No, I
good
think you need
movie.
to lower your standards. That's what I think.
I will not.
I
Keep your
thought
standards,
that
Mila.
visually,
Larry's back.
yeah.
Oh, hey, Larry.
Well, I mean, everybody was talking, so I just gave you guys your space. I feel that the music fight scene,
Let me be me.
yeah,
Thank you.
felt.
Real one, Larry.
I like. It was visually nice. I didn't mind it. It reminded me of a video game. Reminded me of Kingdom Hearts. If
Yeah.
anybody's ever
I
played
got
that.
you. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
So Kingdom Hearts is a Disney game. And it's kind of like Disney meets
weird.
Final Fantasy, kind, right?
Yeah, it's exactly
So
what that
I mean, it's Goofy and Donald and Sora, which is very
The key weapon.
right, the Keyblade and stuff like that. And they have bad guys, and one of the bad guys, like, he actually attacks you with musical notes. So I'm watching this, going, it's fucking Kingdom Hearts, this,
Yeah.
like live action Kingdom Hearts, and that's how I
Okay,
felt. And I
all right.
went, let me get this straight. Not only do you have one Doctor Strange with the rings that make you do things, but you have 2 Doctor Stranges with rings that make you do things, and this is how you're fighting, is using fucking notes? Fuck you, you got candles and everything else. Make some flames and shit like that. Like, what?
It's a small
Eat it.
room. No.
Eat it.
Didn't they do a note battle in What If, Marco?
No, did they?
I don't remember it.
I don't think they did. No.
The one where he changes, he destroys the universe essentially.
No,
he's trying
no.
to save.
In that big,
he's trying to save his
hall,
love.
like that big temple type area, I think they were like glyphs.
Yeah.
they were
The glyphs, they're all glowing and stuff like that. They're almost
Yeah.
like a big,
Like
ancient
Maybe I'm thinking
Egyptian
stuff like that,
tomb type
yeah.
of thing.
Okay.
It's like all the glyphs started glowing. But I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it seems like it could be. Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, I thought that was clever,
Yeah.
but
I
I
thought
hear
it
you
was-
with the
I thought it
video
was
game.
cool.
I've never seen the video game, so I don't know about that one.
I've never seen that part of the game. I got the game, played a little bit of it, got lost, and then
Yeah,
I stopped.
it's, I forgot which one, but it's one of the.
But I kind of
one
I
of the
know what you're
guys
talking
in-
about Kingdom Hearts in general,
So,
though.
is it just me, or do you think anybody else here think that Wong was a little underwhelming?
Very.
One?
You're supposed to be the master.
He's the Sorcerer Supreme.
You're the sorcerer supreme.
default.
Well, by
You
default,
should be.
by default, though.
default.
But he's been a sorcerer a lot longer than Strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Strange is
He
just
should be
built
better
different.
at
You
it.
need to understand.
He also has access to more books, more spells.
He's definitely more read.
Yeah.
He's definitely more well read than Doctor
Yeah.
Strange is. Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree
But I
with
mean,
you.
all he ever does is sling like some lassos. And,
Yeah, cut a sword out of him. Cut
Yeah.
a sword down.
yeah,
Yeah.
show me a little something more.
Yeah, I
Or
would like to
when,
have seen more.
When they were fighting the big one-eyed octopus in the beginning, I know it's out of the comics, but to me it was a little too much like Starro
It was in
from,
What If.
Yeah.
from
Like,
the...
that creature was in What If.
Yeah.
He was in What If. And then the first thing he does was slice off one of his tentacles.
Yeah.
Yep.
Why don't you just keep doing that?
Get them all. Get them all.
Do it again.
10 more to go.
Don't
It's got like 8 of them, so do it 7 more times, and this thing's
Keep
gonna
going. Keep going. You're almost done.
be... Yeah. He did like one, and they did one in the
Just be
middle
the eye
of it.
left. Just be an eye left. A ball, a head, and an eye. That's it.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah. No, I know.
And you take, like,
That's my problem with, like, sometimes with writing. Like, you just showed us that there's a solution. Now
And you ignore it.
And yeah, now you ignore it. Use that solution, or don't ever show us that solution.
Yeah.
Yeah. or show a way
I mean,
defense from that and then use something else.
Yeah. Is there a way that a reason why they stopped using that solution?
Right.
I'm okay with that.
Maybe
if
the
you give me
monster
a
just
reason they have to
grows.
stop
Right.
using it, I'm fine with that.
Maybe it grew it back right away. That would be a
Therefore,
logical-
chopping off other ones are going to do no
not going
good.
to do anything.
Yeah.
Right. But give me a reason, right? Otherwise, you just like, all right,
Done.
we're good, guys. Let's go back to the wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Let's talk about how he did it. When he donned the cloak, when he dove off the balcony.
Yeah.
A la Stark style, when he did the Mach 7 suit.
Yeah.
When he drove out of the plane.
yeah.
Superman, when he jumps out the window, he's all the way down, he
just-
goes super suit, and he goes, phew.
Just awesome. I absolutely love that.
That was cool. This was another one of those movies that there was a lot of, like for me, there was a lot of parts that did hit that I thought were really, really cool looking,
Yeah.
which is what we expected from a Doctor Strange, and we expected that stuff. But there's a lot of things that just left me empty. Like, it left me so empty, this movie. Like, so many parts of it.
Wow. Like what?
A lot of it had to do with the hype building up to this movie.
yeah. There was a lot of hype.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
By telling me you're doing a Multiverse of Madness, you're opening the door for so many things to come in, right? We just finished watching Moon Knight. You introduced already the voice of Blade, and you gave me Dark Knight. You could have brought him in here at some point. You showed me, you teased me, Professor X's hand. He doesn't know the truth about us, or whatever. That's a great way to bring in, the fucking X-Men, right? Multiverse of Madness, not two, multiverse. You could have showed me so much, and that's what the hype around this movie was.
Yes.
I think
A
that's
lot of
what it
people
felt.
were waiting for it. When this
That's
movie
how
came
I kinda
out,
felt at
you
the end.
gave me nothing. You
Yeah.
gave me a sort of Illuminati. You killed them in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Introduced X-Men and then immediately disintroduced
but
X-Men.
and I get it; they're not ready to do that yet.
I understand it,
And
but
if
you
you
could
did
have left-
that. That's a whole movie, so you would
But
have
you
to
could
have left
kind
him
of
out
tease
completely. But it was cool to see him again. Like, it was cool to see a version of him that we may never get again. Because at the end of the day, when they get around to doing the X-Men, which is hopefully in this phase, the next, then I don't think if they
Well,
said.
is Patrick Stewart not going to do
Well,
it
so
anymore?
he said, this is what he said. Originally, he said, I'm retiring. That's why he's not doing another season of Picard. Like, the third season, which is coming up, that'll be his last season because they shot it back to back with season 2. He said, I'm retiring. Then he came out after doing this. He said, if they want me to do it, I'll get back in the chair. I'll get back in. But the problem is, he's like in his 80s.
Also,
and the
yeah.
guy could be dead tomorrow. Like, at some point, it's like, all right, we got to get this fucker in the chair and get him on film because you don't know.
Yeah.
By the time we get around to do X-Men, he either might be gone or just not able to do it.
or
just
might
deep
actually
fake
really
him.
need the
Yeah.
wheelchair.
He'll deep
Yeah.
fake him.
Which is fine.
Or at least,
put him in the
they
fucking
could
hover
just
chair.
keep
He's
him
good to
in the
go.
chair,
Who
you
cares?
know? That's a good thing, I guess.
Yeah, so that,
But
that's
that
what
was
they have to
one
do.
of my biggest things about this. That's
And I hope he
No,
does.
you're
I
right.
love Patrick Stewart. I'd
It
love
fell
to.
flat. It fell flat on the multiverse. It wasn't a
Yeah.
multiverse.
it wasn't
Yeah.
a multiverse.
I
So
was
at the
looking
end of it,
for-
so at the end of it, we got it's literally
I love me some
We got
Patrick
an
Stewart,
angry
even though I tried to run
mom.
him over.
got an angry mom that's running around looking for her kids. It's like,
Yeah.
all right,
Yeah.
it's I don't know.
But,
it's
but you know what though?
Honestly?
That is a motivation that I can understand. I can hold on to
yeah,
that.
yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know, when you think, all right, let's assume that she fully believes her kids are real and she wants them back, then I understand her motivation completely. And it turns her from being your normal tropey evil person who just wants to destroy the world into, I've got a motivation that's real and all these people in the audience can understand it. You know what I mean? I just went to see the Thor movie and Gore the God Butcher, his
Yeah.
motivation absolutely makes sense to me. I would have done the exact same thing.
So-
I won't give anybody spoilers, but I get it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen that
I
yet.
get it. So,
Honestly, if I had time today, my wife wouldn't kill me. I'd go see it.
yeah, no, with that being said,
I'd like
I
to,
appreciate well-written bad guys because it means it makes sense. They're not fully evil. There's a reason. Take Thanos, for example.
Thanos, yeah,
right?
yeah,
He's
yeah.
a perfect example.
Yeah.
Like, for a little bit, I was like, I hope he wins. I get this.
He does in the first one.
Sure, the better solution would have been to like add resources instead of cut people away. But I understand where he's coming from. It's a rationale I can get my head around and see where he's coming from.
Right.
So her rationale I thought was fine.
And I'm okay with that too. But part of I would have. I understand the whole family aspect, right? But I would have not only that, but why didn't she want anything to do with Vision? Meaning, she
Why
was
didn't
so
you want him back in the picture?
Why not add that element to it too?
Yeah.
Because then it's like
That
then
would've
it's,
been-
then it's
that would've been-
WandaVision, right?
Yeah.
Which was what we watched
For real.
for real. Because we saw WandaVision, and that's all she wanted was Vision and the children. She wanted that happy home. She wanted that happy family life.
Yeah.
Now she's got this power, and she's like, oh, when this bitch can do
That might have been an oversight, or maybe there's financial reasons.
maybe.
To not have Vision in?
Yeah.
Well, you have
I'm
to
sure
pull...
there's an like.
No, this story.
in her paradise life, why not have Vision?
Why
in
not?
there as
Like,
well?
because we saw it in WandaVision. In WandaVision, it's her with the kids in Vision. He's dead.
Yeah.
So
right?
why didn't she
so why
find
not
a
bring that
multiverse
now?
where they're all alive?
Yeah,
And then
she really
can
just
be with
wanted...
them.
She really just
wanted those kids.
She wanted the kids.
She's like, you know what? Fuck
she'd
off,
already,
Vision. I'm
like,
good with you. I want those
accepted
damn
his death
kids.
or something,
Yeah.
but like didn't accept
She
theirs.
kind
you
of
know?
did. She kind of did. Plus, we still have to get
She
the...
kind
We
of
still
was
have to
like,
get
made
the...
that peace.
We have to deal... Like, if you bring Vision in, we still have to deal with the fact that there's a white Vision,
White
running,
Vision,
around,
yeah.
running around, too. We haven't dealt
Having,
with that
like,
yet.
We don't have to
Crises.
if you think about she found a parallel universe where the
No,
old
but in
Vision
our
is
universe, we
alive.
have to deal with it. In the,
Well, yeah,
in
but-
the
and
616,
they will.
we have to deal
They
with
will
it.
eventually.
We have to deal with the...
They
There
will.
is a White Vision in the 616.
Yeah, running around.
Yeah.
So we have to deal with all that crap. So,
Having,
yeah.
like,
Is she
the-
dead?
Who?
Wanda?
No way.
Most likely
way.
not. No.
She's
see
the
a
most
body?
powerful witch. Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
If there's no body, there's no death.
Or let's assume she is dead. There's a million other universes where she died.
Guess what? There's an
Pop in
infinite
from another
amount
one.
of
Yeah.
Just
universes.
gonna bring her back.
The reason why I ask, right, is because she brought the destruction of the temple onto herself. It wasn't like somebody took her out,
Yeah.
right? So it's kind of like she did it her own thing. She was like, no, this can't go on. I've got to end this.
So what they really said is what she really did was kick out the Darkhold and kicked out Wanda. I mean, kicked out the Scarlet Witch out of her. So she's still Wanda, but she's basically did that, and you saw that pop of red. It was her basically kicking the Scarlet Witch out of her. So that she's not being taken over by the Scarlet Witch, because that was really what
Yeah,
the problem was,
when the
right?
whole thing collapsed, you
Yeah.
see a red burst.
Burst.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
no,
She
I
doesn't have to
remember
be
that,
dead.
yeah.
Wanda's not necessarily dead, but the
But
Scarlet Witch
is
has been
the being of the...
exercised
Especially
from
with
her.
the Darkhold being
essentially, she got rid of,
erased,
she got rid of
you
the
know?
Phoenix, the Dark Phoenix.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
They got an old priest and a young priest?
That's right. An old priest and a young priest. The power of Christ compels you.
Okay.
So yeah.
So maybe I would have caught that if I watched it a second time. Because that was definitely
I
my
could
thing.
pull a meal and say, no, I saw it on the first time.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
But I did though. No,
That's cool.
I saw it.
So listen, honestly, I got to the end of the movie going, is this the fucking end of the movie? Like I was kind of done at like when I saw Wong hanging off the cliff, I was like, oh shit, he really is alive. Cool.
Yeah.
What a G.
What a G. Really? You're not killing him off yet?
Anywho.
What about Strange having the third eye at the very end?
All right, what the hell?
Huh?
Like, I get it's because
that's-
he used the
you
dark
can't
hole.
use-
Because he used the Darkhold.
Can't use the Darkhold without getting tainted, right? So
Yeah.
So he used the dark home. He's tainted.
So now he's got 3 eyes.
He's got the third eye.
Yeah.
Perfect.
He's a Billy bad guy. He's gonna go with his chick.
Yeah,
Sorry,
and fight
that's a
Dormammu.
bad. And go fight Dormammu. And
Yeah.
It was kind of weird how it ended with him discovering he had a third eye, and then the cutscene was like a nondescript amount of time later when he's now wearing like a scarf or something and just
yeah, well,
walking
he just
down
knew
the same
though.
street.
Like he's okay with it. He's like,
But how long was that?
It was kind of disjointed.
I was like, what the
said that
hell?
from the beginning.
I was like, what the hell is this? And then this.
we get this whole like
this bitch
third eye.
runs in.
Who's this girl?
I'm like,
He's
who's
like
this
freaking
chick?
out about the
What's
third
happening?
eye.
Why does he have a third eye?
And yeah, he's freaking out about the third eye. Then all of a sudden, it's just Mayberry. Like,
Yep.
Right?
he's
I'm
walking
like,
down the street. I was like,
I'm like-
wait a minute, a second ago you were screaming about the third eye. What
I
happened?
think you got to come to terms with it. It is what it
Apparently.
is.
this
Yeah, I
stupid.
don't know
I
how
was like,
quickly
this
he
was a
did, but-
stupid end credit scenes for me.
It
I
was
was like,
just
this.
weird.
It felt
It was
so
like 2 end
weird.
credit scenes in one.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to either do the third eye
It
thing
made
or do
no
the clear
sense.
thing. Like, which
Well,
one
it
are
was
you
it was
doing?
funny because when the feeling I got, I was like, oh shit, was that a dream? Like he really doesn't have a third eye. Like that's what I thought. I
And
thought it was
then
just a
it's
dream,
like,
and then
oh,
no, he really
it's
does.
weirder.
But he's okay with it.
He's just
like he's
like-
cool with it.
Speaking
Yeah, that's
of
why I'm
dreams,
like, how much later was that? Like,
Yeah.
like that. I
Because
literally have
does he
no
show it to
semblance of
her
time.
when she's like, all right,
Yes.
let's go?
Yes, he does.
To me, the scene where he gets the third eye and kind of freaks out, that was useless. I would have rather just seen him like she cuts the thing and he's like, all right, good, boom, third eye. Like, he already knows about it.
Yeah.
He's already cool with it. He knew that was going to happen because like, all right, use the Darkhold. I know shit's going to happen. So, boom, I already know that's in me. So let's go. Game on.
Yeah,
she cuts
literally
open
pick
the
one or
flack
the
of the universe.
other.
She's like, boom, there's our surprise to see the third eye. They try to double dip on the third eye surprise.
Yeah.
You know, we scream one time, next time he's like, yeah, I'm cool with it, let's go. So I think it would have just been better if it was just with
Great.
Clea, we see the third eye, and that's all we needed to see. It was double dipping.
I'll take it. It's all right.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
5-second cutscene.
That was
No,
it.
it's fine.
Kind
It
of
was just-
honestly,
it was just
that
kinda weird.
those end credit scenes kind of took me out of it. Like literally, just at the end, I was like,
Flip the table at the end of
I
that.
was like, oh wow,
Like, oh, the movie's
that
almost
was
over.
I was
Popcorn's
like,
empty.
yeah, I was like, wow, what a really cool and interesting movie. And I'm like, then I'm left with yeah, what the
Third
hell
eye,
was
this
that?
is bullshit.
Like, what the hell? Not even like, oh, what an amazing revelation. I was like, what the hell was that at the end? like I was like, oh, that was very cool.
I think that's their goal, though. I think that's what they're shooting for. They want to give you an end scene where you're like, what?
What's gonna happen now?
But not even like a, ooh,
Well, we
what's
followed the
gonna
last
happen
time,
with this?
nothing.
I was like, that's weird and kind of
If you
stupid,
follow
but okay.
the logic from the last Doctor Strange, this end scene means nothing.
Yeah.
We're
like
not
how
pay
they
off
introduced-
Baron Mordo. We're not going to pay this off either.
I like how they introduced dreams being portals into other universes.
That was actually a really cool.
I did
idea.
like that a lot. I
So
thought
that
was
clown
cool.
that's chasing me, it's like
That's happening somewhere, Mila.
that's happening somewhere.
That's
It was
awesome.
really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
But that must mean that somebody's dreaming about my super boring life. There he
That's
goes
sad.
again. Just walking down the street to karate class.
Yeah, there he is.
And then you wake up and you're like,
It's like, they'll be
clean
like,
the
I had a
house.
dream that I went to work for 8 or 9 hours. And then I
There
went
he is,
home.
cleaning the house, kids
I had
all over
dinner
him.
and had to deal with loud kids, and then I went to bed.
I had this horrendous.
But then there may be
Never
somebody
wanna
out there
be
that's
that
in a
universe.
4x4 square going, oh my God, I had that amazing dream that I worked 8 to 9 hours and went home and had the kids. And so,
I had that weird dream where I'm talking to 3 old dudes talking about movies.
three old, I'm fucking you up.
Fucking 3. We're flipping the table on her.
Oh,
Wow.
it's cold in here.
It's really
A
good
little
golden
bit. I
hair.
thought the AC got shut off.
It did. It
Really
did.
not.
She just brought it down. She brought it
It is
down.
coming for you, Mila.
It's totally coming. Wow.
Yeah, then I opened my
Time
third
marches
eye,
on.
and then I run away with some chick that has never been introduced anywhere ever before.
It's
Yeah.
Whatever
clear.
it takes. Whatever it takes.
Yeah, that
Clea.
weird being's niece who doesn't look like that.
Weird beings, niece. Oh, good lord. Book of Raton, yes.
Yeah, but
Hey, Book of Mormon.
Yeah, the Book of Mormons. Oh, God.
the
How many
Ushab.
other
We
races
lost
and
most
religions
of
we can
our-
offend during the end of before we get to the end of
alright.
this
the Book
podcast?
of Mormon and the Ushabti.
You Shabtis.
The Book of Ushabti.
Oh, my God. We get a couple more races and religions we can offend before we get to the end of this podcast.
Just that one.
That's it. We're done. We're capping it there.
Cabinet there.
Fantastic. All right. Final thoughts on the movie, everybody. Hit me up. Let me hear you, Bruno.
I think the movie was good. I enjoyed it. I was looking for more multi in the multiverse, but I thought it was pretty good. I just enjoy Cumberbatch's incarnation of this character, so I thought it was pretty good.
And all of his
He plays
incarnations
him-
of this character.
Yeah,
He
and
plays him
yeah.
very well.
He really does. He was a great cast for it, and I think they did a good job of the past 4 or 5 years of leading up to it. Like they seeded this so well.
Yep.
That there were a lot of payoffs in it, and so I'm looking forward to see what happens next. I liked it though. I liked it. Let's see. Should we go with the how many mics?
Yeah. How many mics on this one?
Out of 70.
If we were, using the fractions that we were doing the other day, I'm going to go with 23 fifths.
Got it.
Yeah.
That math doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. 23 fifths.
23 fifths.
I like it.
What's that? 4
That's
and
like
a
a
quarter?
four,
It's like four and
three
four
or
and
something.
3 fifths.
Yeah.
23 fifths.
That math doesn't make any sense.
So I went real quick with that one.
nice
See,
job,
like
nice
that?
Job, nice job. That's like 4.625.
So, I'm gonna go. Overall, I felt the same way about this movie that I did on the first time. That first Strange wasn't bad. It was entertaining. For me, there was a couple things that tied into the rest of the MCU, but not a lot really. Like this, for me, this movie didn't really have anything to do with anything else that was going on.
Yeah.
You know?
We've kind of seen that. Like Moon Knight didn't really have anything
Yeah,
to do with
so
anything
it's
going
like-
on.
so that-
It's like-
but-
we've been getting a lot of that lately.
Yeah,
And,
so I'm
so
like,
far,
man.
Miss Marvel doesn't either.
So I mean, unless they
I haven't seen, obviously, the last
unless they
episode,
use
but
America
yeah.
Chavez in some of the upcoming things,
Yeah.
this really had nothing to do with the rest of the MCU. I'm kind of.
They're suggesting that it's gonna hopefully, right? That's gonna tie into the.
I
rest of the
think so.
MCU.
I don't know, like because we already saw the whole multiverse thing that he broke it when he did it with Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
So
I like
this-
that they used him in Spider-Man.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
the
I
character,
thought
yeah.
that, but see, that was a great like little tie into the rest of the MCU that's going
Yes,
on.
yes.
That was awesome.
Yes.
So now we have this. Didn't do anything different.
Yeah.
Did you see Feige
Yeah.
basically publicly came out and was like, I told Sony not to do this shit. He told them not to
Really?
he warned them against doing this like peripheral Spider-Man universe that has nothing to do with Spider-Man and doing all these because Morbius is tanked twice.
Yeah.
Right? Even Venom didn't do as good as they hoped. You know what I mean? Now they're doing like Madam Web. Who gives a shit?
Madam Web.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing Madam Web. They just cast her. They're doing Kraven, who we know is not going to be Kraven. They keep taking these villains and like making them not villains. Because
Yeah.
how do
Making
you
them
make a
suck.
movie about a villain? that people want to go see. Like, it's just like they have to be sort of an anti-hero or anti-villain or whatever. So Kraven's gonna be like a vegetarian, most likely. You know what I mean? Who just like whose father used to hunt big game, and he's gotta stop them. You know what I mean? His jacket's no longer a lion head. You know what I mean? It's got a peace symbol on it and like some pot symbol or something. Like, it's just not gonna be the same. Like, they just can't get the shit right. And Kevin Feige, like, he came out like, I'm sorry. He's like, I told him not to do this.
Yeah.
I told him not to do this shit.
Womp, womp.
I warned him. Mila?
Ooh,
Larry, how many mics did you give that? I'm sorry, Mila.
Because it was entertaining and I did like it. Yeah. You know, it was decent for a decent movie. I'm going to give it like 3. 3? Like a soft 3.
Soft 3.
A soft 3.
Yeah, soft 3. Like,
I'll give it like a
squishy 3.
The thing is, I actually had a good time watching this. I did have a takeaway of like, okay, like that kind of disappointment of like there could have been like there could have been more that they promised that wasn't in there, you know? And you're right, I wasn't quite blown away with this movie, but at the end of the day, I actually really enjoyed it at the end of the day. So I would say like a solid 4, like 4.5, I'd say.
Nice.
Like I thought it was a really cool movie anyway.
Yeah, I'm there with the 4.5. I think a 4.5 for me. Probably I liked it more, than you did. But I think we both enjoyed the movie. My biggest issue was I wanted to see more multiverse action. You know, seeing them quickly beat through a bunch of them was cool. But I'd like to have seen them drop into a few more of them. You know what I mean? No. Seeing like the Living Tribunal really fast as they pump through that. Seeing the paint universe, the pipe universe, which that was kind of funny. Yeah. They're in like that pipe screensaver universe. That was kind of cool. Yeah. So that was kind of fun. Seeing where they ended up landing and like, you know, basically, you know, green means stop and red mean like the different colors and how they paint. That's kind of fun. I like that, but I would have liked to have seen more. They definitely had a lot of missed opportunities where they could have had a bigger adventure. And you know how she's basically like you have to learn what the sort of the parameters are in every universe you go to and what things mean. And you know this one, you know, the money doesn't mean anything. Oh, this one does need money. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. I would definitely want to see more of. Would it have?
Well, they could be saving that for more later.
Yeah, because it would have advanced the story more. No, probably not. But it would have added a little bit more enjoyment in that respect. So dropping a few more of the crazy horror flick stuff. Pseudo whatever it was to add a little bit more of the fun of the multiverse, because this was our first foray. You know, we got the Spider-Man, which brought the 2 Spider-Man into our universe, but we didn't see other universes. Do you know what I mean? This was our first version of seeing other universes. So yeah, call me greedy. I would like to have seen a little bit more.
Yeah, you're greedy.
I am greedy. It's okay.
Which is fine.
I'm fine with that. I don't mind like that. So yeah, there it is, gang. All right, Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness.
I'm kind of mad that I watched it, actually.
Oh, Larry. Lawrence, what's going on?
I was mad that I spent money watching
Show me on the doll where the movie hurt you.
Everywhere. But more importantly, in my heart.
Oh, Larry.
I'm sad that I paid for it.
I think I just threw up in my mouth. All right, fantastic. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Larry.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Mila.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bruno.
What an honor it has been to court death with you once more, Marco.
Did you just look that up?
That was a quote from Doctor Strange.
You just looked it up. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening.
That's why I was reading.
That's what I figured. We are Entertainment Rants at entertainmentrants.com. Find us online on our social media, Entertainment Rants. Engage with us via email at engageentertainmentrants.com. Let us hear from you. Drop us a line or drop us a review on Apple Podcasts. We'd love to hear from you and bury some of the other reviews that are on there. Sons of bitches. Whoever those Washington Sentinel assholes were. That's okay. Calling you out. You heard me. I'm calling you out, you pricks. Before we jump off, just a quick shout out to some of our other friends in the podcast community. Of course, our friends over there at the 3 Geeky Dads podcast.
Hey.
Our friends over there at Trekker's Delight, as well as, of course, as Raphael over at the Geeky Dad, and of course now his Multiverse of Madness kids that he's got going on. So take a listen to those guys. We'll bring you some more notes and other podcasts that we've been listening to and talk about those in the future. All right. Thank you, everybody. What are we going to go out there and do?
Let's rant.
Hashtag rant.
Mila, nothing.
Pound rant.
Rant it. Let's rant.